debt under college. I'm patient though, so. The interest rate's been accruing the whole time. What's that? That's my phone in the office, but I can work it out. I don't know what the exact
We'll call to order the City of Douglasville City Council meeting for tonight, which is our voting meeting. It is Monday, December the 4th, 2023. Our invocation will be done by Pastor James Harper of First Presbyterian Church of Douglasville, and then we'll have the Mayor Pro Tem, City Councilmember Terry Miller, please lead us in the pledge. Please stand for the invocation.
Good evening. It's good to be with you all today. Happy birthday, Coach Watts. That's right. Let's pray. Gracious, loving God, as we gather tonight, we do so with so much to be thankful for. Thankful for this season in which we are living sacrificially, giving to others, and celebrating the love that we can share with one another. We are thankful for the way you meet us in all of our provisions, and you've gone far beyond that, God. I'm grateful for this city, for the work that these leaders do to make this a special place. And I pray that you give them all the wisdom they need tonight to do their business faithfully. I pray that you would give them the selflessness that's just so characteristic of their leadership style, that puts aside personal agendas and seeks what is best for the city. We're grateful for those who labor behind the scenes and the staff, and pray that you would nourish all of them this season with a lot of rest and replenishment and joy. And I'm grateful for our police and the work that they do, and other first responders and the work that they do to help others, and I pray for their protection this season particularly. We pray these things in Christ's name. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, for leading us in the pledge, and thank you so much, Pastor Harper, for that beautiful invocation. Happy holidays to you. My name is Rochelle Robinson. I'd like to welcome you to the Douglasville City Council voting meeting. The business that we'll take care of tonight were the items that were discussed at last week's legislative work session, and so it'll go a little differently if you're watching online, or some we may have in the audience than our work session. We will vote on the items that were discussed last week. If the business you're here for is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under comments from citizens and delegates section for you to discuss your business. And the protocol, the way the meeting will be held is that we'll have the committee chairperson handle the agenda items. They'll read the agenda item. That person representing that item or applicant will make his or her presentations if we have any. If we have additional questions that were different from last week, we'll ask those questions at that time, and then we'll go ahead and vote. If it's a public hearing that needs to be held, there are 20 minutes for those in favor of the item and 20 minutes for those in opposition, and each person has 5 minutes to speak. If there's someone that comes in and would like to speak, please fill out the speaker card that's on the desk outside. Bring those cards forward. Give us your name and address for the record. and we have one opportunity to speak. It's not a debate or question and answer format. The committee chairperson will make a motion or recommendation, and we will vote and move on with the meeting. If there are any printed materials that need to be distributed to us, we ask that you would give those to our city clerk, Ms. Vicki Acker, to my right, and she will make copies and distribute those to us. So now we'll move on with our meeting. We'll have the approval of the minutes. So, well, not the minutes, I apologize, approval of the agenda. So I'll make a motion to open the floor for a motion to adopt the regular meeting agenda for tonight, which is December 4th, 2023.
So moved.
Thank you so much. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much, Councilman Davis. It's been properly moved in second, moved by Councilmember Estes and second by Councilmember Davis to adopt the regular meeting agenda for tonight. Do we have any corrections, deletions, or any concerns as it relates to the agenda from council? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving or adopting the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The agenda is adopted. So now we'll move on with the approval of the minutes. So I'll open the floor for a motion to approve the minutes of the November 16th, 2023 legislative work session and minutes of the November 20th, 2023 regular meeting. Thank you so much, Councilman Adams. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
It was a dueling second. Who did we get, Ms. Acker? Mr. Watts. So it's been properly moved in second, moved by Councilmember Adams and second by Councilmember Watts to approve the minutes. Do we have any questions, concerns, or deletions or additions or anything as relates to the approval of the minutes from council? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We'll move on then to the consent agenda. I will open the floor for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Davis. It's been properly moved in second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Do we have any corrections, deletions, or any concerns as relates to the consent agenda? Yes, sir.
I do, Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to bring to the attention of the public listening and viewing and those that might be here tonight that I have been railroaded. I would gladly accept to assist with that tax allocation district committee, but I was not asked. I guess I was told.
Yes, sir. I think we did railroad you.
I don't have a problem, I don't guess, but I just probably won't have the opportunity to do it to anyone else, so thank you.
Well, we appreciate your willingness to serve. We know that it will be a sacrifice, but we have all the confidence that you'll do a wonderful job.
I believe the rule is miss a meeting, serve on a committee.
Yeah, we
Pardon
actually,
me?
I believe the rule is miss a meeting, serve on a committee.
we actually discussed appointing you to several other things too, so you're lucky you got off with one.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. It was unanimous.
Gee, imagine that. I've seen this done, but I've never been a part of doing it. But I have now been a part of being done.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate you willing to serve, Councilman Adams. It's a blessing. We want to keep you around. You have great knowledge, and you're very level-headed. So sometimes that committee may need someone that will, I'll just leave it alone. But thank you so much for being willing to serve. We appreciate that. So we'll move on. I won't get myself in trouble. It's Christmas time. We'll move on to the Economic Development Committee.
Point of order, Madam Mayor.
Oh,
We
yes,
haven't
sir.
voted.
Let me see.
We've not voted on the consent
Oh,
agenda.
thank you so much. I'm trying to get my laptop on me, my
I'm going to vote
iPad.
against it, but anyway.
Yes, sir. So you did have a comment about the consent agenda. We've talked about that and have discussion. So I open the floor for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
We
It's
have-
already
It's been
approved.
moved and second. All those in favor, not having any other conversation, if we are in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The consent agenda is approved. So now we can move on to the next agenda item. Trying to get the, let me see, regular meeting, voting. Okay. Economic Development Committee chaired by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem, City Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Economic Development Committee at this time.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on then to Finance Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
Finance has one item tonight. Authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with PSG Energy Services LLC for an RFP 2023-026 for the installation of kiosk signs at the town green. Mr. Thompson was gracious enough to meet with me this afternoon to discuss this, and I know there are some questions. I understand this was originally placed on the consent agenda, and then because of other questions, it had been removed and placed back on our regular agenda. So I'll open the floor for other questions or comments that council or Madam Mayor may have before we go to a vote. Just start, anyone that wants to start, just raise your hand. Coach, you want to start?
Yes, sir. When we were discussing with Marcus earlier, and we were looking at the 3 locations that are not written in stone, no pun intended, but one of the spots, we were discussing, I guess the question came up is, what would be the ramifications of doing 2 if we went through with getting these kiosks, 2 instead of 3? Because one of them, the proposed location, might require some reconstruction, tearing up some pavement, and I'm just wondering, do we need 3 as opposed to 2, especially with the 2 big signs out there that I know it's not going to be used in that manner all the time, but when we have special occasions like the other night, that was pretty effective, all the way the signs were used. Anyway, Marcus? I guess I was wondering what would be involved with scaling back from, instead of 3, 2?
Marcus Thompson, city engineer, 6701 Church Street. Coach Watts, to answer your question, after discussing with legal, if we were to scale back to 2 kiosk systems, we would have to re-advertise the RFP.
Any other points? Any
Well,
other questions, Coach?
I just, we're not sure exactly where the 3 spots would be, but one of them looked like it wouldn't be as effective for what it's designed for, its location, almost to the road over there, stage right, kind of out of the view. The only people that were using those gates during those 3 concerts were the VIP folks that were coming through that gate, but that particular location, if we were going to go with 3. And I know Councilman Davis has some other concerns, so I just was wondering what would, and Marcus answered that we would have to re-advertise. But we're also, if we stick with 3 in that and we move that 1, we're going to have to tear something up to put it in another location, so.
Well, I think the one that was in question for me was the one that sits adjacent to the parking area at the loading dock, which is also the curb where the entertainers park their buses, just an extension of your comment, Coach, to where I'm not sure that it would be able to be seen if you had an act going on, because it would be blocked if it's up on the sidewalk. I'm not sure of the exact location, but that's what Mr. Thompson has shown me. And I'm hoping that Councilman Davis is going to answer the question concerning use of the big screens rather than these. And if we did decide not to do these, could we take those funds and place them back in contingency on the project? How would we go about that? That was my concern. I guess my question then would be who has decided that we needed 3 and who decided the locations?
Right. Okay.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Ms. Hammond.
Just to help Marcus out, I think just again, Ms. Jackson may need to come up to just remind everyone, these signs are not just for concerts. These signs are also wayfinding for directions when the facility is being used as a park. So it's dual purpose. So it may not seem to make sense when you're thinking about it in the realm of when you have a concert, because you have 3 signs, the availability, the number of people. But again, for the concert purposes, the major ones that we're doing, you're only talking 6 a year. We have Wednesday wind down. It's not, they weren't necessarily meant to be just for promotion. They're actually wayfinding signs for us to put things, alerts, certain things to augment what is actually on the big screen. Location was done as a part of the design, so that's how that was done, as signs typically are, as any design package. But again, if you all are not comfortable with them, I mean, we can remove this as a part of it. I mean, we function without them. But I do think that if you are going to do it, now is the time to do it, because of course, cost doesn't go down and you miss the opportunity to have them.
You've answered my question. Okay, others?
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Davis.
Yeah, and Marcus, what I was looking at, maybe one, plus we have the big ones for, but there's one on Chapel Hill that's not working. And I think we need to fix that, work on it and get it done. That one sign right there off the interstate, Chapel Hill.
Yeah,
The,
that's
market sign.
That's in our current Douglasville digital signage project that's going on now. Right now, Denice is currently in the process of developing engineered drawings to replace that sign. Construction will begin there to replace that sign with a new one next year.
Marcus, you may want to mention how many of those signs are in that package.
I would say there's around, I'll say seven to eight.
So all of your monument signs, all your digital signs, they will all be replaced as a part of your wayfinding signage package that you approved a couple months ago via Deny Signs.
And if I might add, Councilman
Yes,
Davis, I believe that you're speaking of the one at Liberty Island there.
Right,
Right there
right.
across
That-
from my street.
Right.
And I had asked that question, and I was told, you can't get parts, there's no reason to try to repair that sign. We're going to replace them all, it's going to be a little bit longer-term project. Am I correct there, Madam City Manager?
Yes.
Yes, sir, you already approved Deny Signs as your contractor. You approved that bid. They were awarded that. That's probably a couple months ago. So right now, as Mr. Thompson mentioned, they're working on drawings. So once that's complete, 2024, you should see new wayfinding signage go up, inclusive of at the police department and other areas as well.
So in your opinion, then, these being used 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, more for users of the park than just for information for the concert?
Absolutely, because you'll also get a replace sign at this facility also.
Got it.
So you have a comprehensive signage package citywide that you approved a couple months ago. Those are the 7 signs that were mentioned by Mr. Thompson. These signs are just germane to this park.
Okay, thank you. Others? Mr. Davis?
Also, Marcus, with that signage package, there one gonna be placed over at the Worthing Park, that area over on the north side,
For Worthing Park?
Worthing Park.
No, sir. The only park on the north side that would get a digital LED signage is the Jesse Davis Park. Jesse Davis.
I would like to see one up there at Worthing Park, right there on that, in that area, on that corner. You familiar with Worthing Park?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it, but it might be some challenges, being that the railroad owns like 100-foot right of way in that area, so there may be some challenges for us to get some type of
Can you look
digital
at it?
signage. We can look at it.
But that is not a part of this package. It's not a part of
No.
this item. That would have to be something we go back to with Denice to look at including another location potentially with Denice, if that were something we wanted to do.
That's correct.
Okay. Mr.
So,
Davis?
and we still, the 1 year, did you talk to them about the 1 year warranty? I would like for it to be like the one off Chapel Hill, can't get no parts for after a year, and that's $199,000. Did you talk to them about a 5 year or 2 year warranty instead of 1 year?
Not yet, but that's something we can look into.
Yeah, because if it go out within a year, after a year, we stuck. Okay.
Mr. Davis, are you of the opinion that the big screens there on either side of the stage need to be used specifically for the acts that may be there and not to be used as
Other,
wayside.
other advertising, just like it was for,
For the concerts.
Yeah, concerts and not Fourth of July, but the, Christmas parade.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that's probably what the reasoning
on
was
the
behind
timer.
it.
It's
I
on the-
know that you were a big proponent of these screens when we were talking about the theater to begin with. And I thought that was what the use would be.
Yeah, and I don't wanna just waste 199,000 when we got the other locations that's coming on board. And, which was, that covered the whole city, though, other, like, right there at the Freedom Island and coming on board. So one down there would be good.
If this is in the budget and it was planned, this is just my opinion, I would hate for us to value engineer it out now as modern and updated and new as that facility is. I would hate for us to try to go back in 2, 3, 4, 5 years and do this when we should have done it to begin with and it's in the budget. And we're not over budget and we have money in the contingency. That's just my opinion, only because of the facility that's been built. I think that this was a part of it from day one, and it would seem to me that since we don't want to use the big screens for this wayfinding situation, I think that it would be something that would be of benefit to every citizen as they visit the park. Anyone else? Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I know this is a rudimentary, basic understanding, but I support having the kiosks there. It's just like me going to Tanger Outlet. I already know where I am. The signs are everywhere, but when I'm inside of Tanger Outlet, the wayfinding signs will tell me where to go, you know, if I need to go to Neiman Marcus or the Saks Outlet or something. So that's kind of what I, make a liken to that these signs will do, will help to show people where they're going, where the restrooms are, concessions, that type of thing. If we have anything else to announce, it'll be on the signs, on these kiosks. So I'm in favor of keeping them the way they were already budgeted in the initial.
I would like to see you change location, come up with location and give them back to us, let us take a look at locations.
That, we can do that.
I'd add, Chair, as the city manager has pointed out, locations were chosen based on the design of the park itself. So I think they attempt to maximize the location based on distance between each of the signs, usefulness in terms of where they're located relative to the exits in and out of the park, also usefulness relative to the features within the park. So I think, I don't know that it would be a good idea for us to second guess the engineer's choices of the locations. I think we should be, willing to accept what they've decided in the actual design itself, because it's based on the context of the design itself. Just my thoughts on that.
It would put us behind.
Anyone
It'll
else?
put us behind if we hold up things to try to open in the spring.
Madam City Manager had another comment.
I just want to, Ms. Jordan has verified that within the contract, the warranty period is 2 years. Councilman Davis, I would suggest that you're probably not going to get more than 2 years. Most of our equipment that we get, it's very rare that you'd get a 5-year warranty. I think Mr. IT would verify that at that point, the technology is probably outdated, so they're probably not going to extend a 5-year warranty, and that's on things that have a technical component. So 2 years is probably going to be standard. The other is, if you do choose to move the signage, we will have to go back through design, and that's going to cost you because you have to look at ADA, you have to look at patterns within the park, so it's not just as simple as Mr. Thompson going out and saying where he puts the signs. So if you do want to relocate the signs, we'll have to go back to design and get that done. The other is, I think we're talking about 2 separate things. These are kiosk signs for the park to indicate what's going on in the park. As it relates to the monitors that are next to the stage, that is germane really for the stage and the performances. As it relates to the package that Mr. Thompson referred to, that's wayfinding signage throughout the city. I would advise you that if you want to put advertisement on that's probably something we need to talk about at the planning session, because now you're becoming a billboard. And that is something completely separate and apart. We're able to advertise the businesses as it relates to the concert because they are sponsors, but anything above and beyond that, we're getting into another areas. So what I would say is, in the three separate conversations we're having, one, as it relates to these on the agenda, this is just for the park. We're ready to take action on it unless you all want us to reconsider and go back to the designer. The other items, as far as the kiosks and the wayfinding signage, that was done a couple months ago. And then the other, as far as the advertisements, I would pause and have that discussion with legal in a couple weeks.
Miss Hampton, could that be looked at over on the New Horizon area? Because we don't have any kind of wayfinder over in that area.
You will have the digital signage that goes with Jesse Davis Park. That's a part of this package. Now, if you want a separate sign that indicates the New Horizons area, that's something that we can look to include in a second package. Because if not, I mean, those signs are costing us somewhere $250,000 each. So that's something that we would have to bid out if you're looking for a separate sign. So we can work on that as a package number 2.
Okay.
Any other question or comment?
Is Neiman Marcus a Tanger now?
No,
Oh, okay.
I wish it were, and Taylor was.
So
What is
I hope
that?
that we have clarified basically what this potential authorization is and what it includes and where it will be located, and we've separated out then the potential need for other signage in other areas and/or replacement, which Mr. Thompson has already informed us of. If there are no other questions or comments, then in keeping with the suggestion of our Madam City Manager, I'm going to make an motion to approve item 23-442.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. At dueling seconds, who do we have, Ms. Acker? Watts? Mr. Miller, okay. I have a motion to approve by the chair, Councilman Adams, and second by Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, City Councilmember Terry Miller, to approve item 23-442. We've had discussion. Is there any more comments or concerns or discussion to have on this item from council members? I don't see any. We're ready to vote. All of those in favor of approving item 23-442, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 23-442 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That completes finance for the evening.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on then to Housing and Community Affairs Committee. I'll ask Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, if you don't mind, please taking that committee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's no business tonight under the Housing and Community Affairs Committee.
Thank you, sir. Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
No business tonight, Madam Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Davis. Personnel and Organization Committee, chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight in Personnel and Organization.
Thank you so much, Councilman Watts. Planning and Development Committee, chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight.
Thank you, sir. Public Improvement and Beautification, I'll ask Mr. Mayor Pro Tem to please take that committee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's no business under the Public Improvement and Beautification Committee at this time.
Thank you, sir. Public Relations Committee, chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The PR Committee has no business this evening.
Thank you, sir. Public Safety Committee, chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
No business at this time, Madam Mayor, thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you, Councilman Davis. Recreation, Culture, and Tourism Committee, chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight in Recreation, Culture, and Tourism.
Thank you, Coach. Technology Committee, chaired by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem, City Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's no business under the Technology Committee at this time.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, if you don't mind, please chairing the Transportation Committee for me.
Yes, Madam Mayor. There's no business under the Transportation Committee at this time as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you standing in, being the ram in the bush. So we'll move on then to updates. We have any other business to come before council tonight from council members? I don't see any. Updates from city staff. Our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson. No business. Thank you, sir. Staff attorney, Ms. Miranda Jordan.
No business, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Our police department, our deputy chief.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. JR. City manager, Ms. Marsha Hampton.
Yes, ma'am. I will be sending you all, or I should say, Ms. Kristen is going to send you all the final draft for Friday's meeting with your state delegation. So that will be in your email tomorrow. I did check in with the chief of staff at Douglas County, Tiffany Stewart Stanley, just to verify that the meeting was still taking place. Some of you all may know that the state delegation is in session due to redistricting, so they're in a special session right now, so I don't think they're supposed to close until next week, but as of right now, the meeting will still take place. Also, I just messaged Mr. Thompson, based on the discussion on wayfinding, to put together a wayfinding signage package number 2. So if you all see other areas that you want, I know Mr. Davis has mentioned New Horizons, we'll put that together. If there are other areas within the city. We also have a program that we've already established that you'll see where there are various signs that can go along with that package. And then finally, we do have Employee Service Awards tomorrow. So some of you I know attend that. That'll be here in this building tomorrow at 11 a.m. So without, yes.
Ms. Hampton, can you go ahead and give us the time and so forth for the state delegation meeting here? Friday?
State delegation meeting is Friday, the 8th at 11 a.m.
Thank you.
And then the Service Awards is tomorrow at 11 a.m.
11, yeah.
All right. And that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Madam City Manager. We'll move on to staff reports. And Councilman Estes, I'll ask you to read the report. It's your committee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
We have one item, presentation of the Community Relations Department's quarterly report. And we will be hearing from Mr. Jason Post.
Thank you so much, Councilman Estes.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Jason
evening.
Post, Community Relations Department, 6695 Church Street.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having me tonight. I've got a bit of a presentation here, but I'm going to rush through parts of it so I can focus on some of the things we've been focusing on as a department over the last year. So if I'm going too fast, or if you got questions about anything, feel free to wave me down at any point. This is our Community Relations Department as it exists, our org chart and our staff. There have been no changes since my last report before you, which is great. We've got a great team that works really hard for the city, so I'm glad they're all still here. Our vision is and mission is to inform the community, engage our citizens, and celebrate the great things about the city of Douglasville. And we do that as a team, and they do a great job of it. We break that down into these divisions of our department. We've got our communications, which is City TV, our website, social media, newsletters, is our outgoing communication efforts. We've got branding and graphic support, which is a lot of the graphic design work that is done in the department for the entire city. And then we've got community events and outreach. So I'm going to touch on a few of those and then focus on some of the projects we've worked on over the past year. We're going to start with events and outreach activities because this one creates a lot of our workload. We're going to start with this slide here, which is always a fun one. This is our 2023 city events calendar. 163 plus events are the total number that we did in 2023. Now that is just special events and activities put on by the city. That does not include regular programming like athletic programming, baseball leagues, basketball leagues, volleyball leagues, things like that the parks do. It does not include regular programming like our Citizens Academy or the Police Citizens Academy, handgun clinics, youth against violence, programs like that. Those are all in addition to this. So when you look at this number, that's just the special events and activities. We're averaging 3 to 4 events every week. And then we're adding on all those regular programming options with athletics and things like that. So there's always something going on in the city. This also does not include the partner programs that happen at our parks. The Parks Department does a great job with all of their partner programs. So you can go to our parks and do Latin dance and line dancing and taekwondo and ballet and all kinds of fun stuff that are offered by partners that the city doesn't actually put on. So if you add that to this number, it goes up exponentially as far as activities happening within the city. And I add those on to say, when we go to the next section, which is our graphic design and branding support, we support all those other programs as well. So when we're looking at the athletic program and we're looking at the partner programs of the parks, we help with marketing and promotional materials for those programs as well. Since they're happening at our park, we want to make sure they look good and they're promoted as well. So that creates a pretty big workload for our graphic designer, Christian Molina. He does an amazing job, and he stays really, really busy. So if you look just at the 163 number, for every one of those events and activities, we average about 6 design elements for each of those. So that's already close to 1,000 things that he's designing over the course of a year just for our city events. Again, not including the partner programs and not including the regular programs that we also design materials for. In addition to those, our department is responsible for creating or approving all forms, presentations, applications, advertisements, promotional items, branded uniforms, clothing, any document that's coming out of the city that we need to look good, that a citizen is utilizing. Our department has a hand in either creating or approving to make sure that it looks good, it looks to the quality and standards that we want to put out as the city of Douglasville, and it's easily usable by the citizens. So that's a lot of work, and Christian does an amazing job. And that brings us to our third division, which is where we're going to focus a lot of tonight, some of the bigger projects we worked on this year, which is communications. Our website is our main hub for all of our communications, a lot of the communications that we do in the city. And we've completed a few new projects over the past year. We created a new website for the Greystone Amphitheater. We created a new portal for the Douglasville University program that we've been talking about a lot over the last year or so. And we created a new employee intranet. These are 3 web-based projects that we've accomplished over the last year that took a lot of great effort from the team. And on the horizon, looking toward the future, we've got a full website redesign on the horizon in the next year or two. We're coming up on that usually every 5 to 6 years. You look at redesigning your website to clean it up, keep it usable and up to date. So that's on the horizon for the next year or two. This is the basic look of the front page of the Greystone Amphitheater website. It was built as a subpage under our main city website, so it's got the same wireframe and structure. But it's got unique branding, unique colors, unique content specific to the Greystone Amphitheater, and it provides all the information for activities and events happening at the Greystone Amphitheater. It'll have information about how to reserve that venue and how to use that venue once we start rentals and accommodations and such. So that was a big project that came together really well. The next one is our employee intranet. So this is one we wanted to create a place where employees could have access to all the information they needed as employees, important documents, important files, and stuff that they could have access to wherever they're at, whenever they need it. But also a place where they could stay up to date with things happening around the city. We're spread out all over the city of Douglasville in different buildings, so this is a place where you can come together and see news and updates and information about what's happening with other departments and things around the city, and feel like we're part of one big happy family. So we're going to do a brief tour of the employee intranet and how we designed it. So the first thing we want to do is we wanted to make sure it was conveniently located for everyone. A lot of city employees use Microsoft Teams already. It's where we do our virtual meetings. A lot of contact between departments is done through the chat via Teams. So we built the employee intranet into Microsoft Teams so that it was easily accessible for everyone who needed to get to it. So anybody who's using Microsoft Teams, there is a new logo in the upper left corner that says intranet. You click there and you've found the employee intranet. If you're on a city computer and you open a new tab in Chrome, you also get taken to the employee intranet whether you want to or not. That is the default homepage for every new tab in Chrome. If you're logged in with your city email address, you make it to the city's intranet. You have to be logged in with your city intranet, with your city email address, and that's the only way you can access the intranet, so it's for employees only. As we scroll down, right at the top, you've got a list of important links so you can get to financial documents, human resource documents, travel documents, important request forms, link to the PPP, link to information on our Douglasville Wellness Center, our employee benefits. It's all right there in the important links right across the top. As you scroll down the page, you'll find the main site navigation where you'll find links to important city news and updates, our Douglasville University portal. That portal right there will take you to a page with all the information about Douglasville University and the ability to look at all the upcoming classes and register for any of the classes coming up for Douglasville University. Recent highlights had some photos from recent employee appreciation events and activities and things. And affinity groups, or some of the affinity groups, the book clubs, bike clubs, things like that, the employees have kind of put together themselves. If you continue to scroll down the page, you see our list of upcoming events. You're going to see the most recent ones that are coming up. And if you click See All, you're going to get a full calendar of all the upcoming employee events, including Douglasville University classes, employee appreciation, lunches, and any kind of activities, produce giveaways, anything that's going on for employees in the city of Douglasville, you can find right here in the upcoming events calendar. As you continue to scroll down, the city news and events, news and updates. This is where we're going to highlight the important things that are happening within our employees and with our staff. So promotions, new hires, awards that different departments are winning, any kind of recognition and things that we want to promote to all of our staff. This is a way where people from different departments can see the great things that are happening in other departments, which in the past we haven't. If something's going on in parks, PD is on the other side of town and they don't know what's going on, or City Hall doesn't know what's going on over at PD because they're on the other side of town. So this is a way we are able to promote all those things in one place, and everybody can see all the great things that are happening internally with the city of Douglasville. The other thing we wanted to make sure was that everyone had access to it. So we know that not everybody in the city sits behind a computer. Not everybody has access to a computer. Everybody has a cell phone, though. So if you have the Microsoft Teams app and you're signed in with your city email address, right at the bottom left-hand corner, there's a button for our intranet. So you get all of the same exact information through the Microsoft Teams app. You can access all the quick links, all the news feed, all the important documents. They're all accessible right there within the Microsoft Teams app. So we tried to make it very accessible for anyone with a City of Douglasville email address to access the employee intranet and get to any information and any important documents that they might need. That is the new employee intranet. Are there any questions before I move on from that? That was a pretty big one. Excellent. All right. We're going to cover some of the other communication things. We continued our print newsletter. We upped the circulation to 46,000 every quarter this year. That's Chapel Hill News and Views increased their circulation this year. So we did 4 of those. So every quarter it went out to 46,000 households and businesses throughout the county. We've got a lot of great feedback for those. Our e-newsletter, these are similar content, but this one goes out on various rates depending on what it is. We do a weekly, and then there's some monthly ones that go out and some quarterly ones. These go out via our email database. We found that the email subscriptions have a huge rate of engagement, higher than most any other communications channel we have. So we've got 71% is our engagement rate through our email list, which is great. You can see there's a big jump in our email subscriber list around July. That is when the Perk Your Park campaign happened, and Ms. Parker did a great job with the Perk Your Park campaign, and we added a whole lot of email subscribers as part of that, and got a lot of traction for that campaign for the Parks Department. So our email list went up, and like I said, we're doing really well with those. We can continue to grow that email list and utilize that. City TV programming, we continue to produce all the same City TV programming that we have in the past, including the Douglasville Junior program. We did another season of that this year, and some special episodes around Christmas more recently. Digital displays, you guys have just been talking a lot about digital displays. This is one of the other projects we took on this year. We had one player system that was running our Comcast channel, and we had another set of player that was running all of our signage within our city buildings. So the one in City Hall, the one out front of the conference center, all of our parks have a digital display that's showing promotional slides. We decided we wanted to unify all those, so we had one content management system for all the different displays that we have and the new ones that we're adding on. So we rolled out the Navori Labs hardware and their back-end content management system. So this is a cloud-based content management system that enables us to control the content on any screen that we have it loaded to within the city. So this is our displays in our city facilities. This is the screens flanking the stage at the amphitheater, the screens by the concession stands. Our Comcast Channel 22 is controlled by this. The new monument signs that are coming in at Freedom Island and Jesse Davis Park and the conference center will be controlled by the Navori content management. And the future kiosks that we're talking about down at the downtown green will utilize Navori for their content. And what that means is when we create something for all of these events and activities we're talking about, we don't have to create multiple types for multiple different systems, and we don't have to deploy it into multiple different softwares in order to get it everywhere. We put it into Navori, and then from there, if it's a vertical display or a horizontal display, anything that we create that is a vertical content, we can put on any vertical display we have in the city. If it's horizontal content, we can put it on any horizontal display we have in the city. And that helps us to manage all that without creating a massive workload to update all these different screens and all these different places with all this different kinds of content. That also helps us to focus what content goes on different screens. So we can segment it down and put specific content on the kiosks, and it's specific content on the big screens by the stage and specific content in the building. We can even narrow it down and put specific content in the conference center and different content in City Hall. But it's all being loaded to the Navori cloud, so we can control it anywhere, which is nice. We have access to update it whenever we need to. And we also have access to put different or the same on all of these screens. So if we ever needed to get an emergency notice out, we now have a couple of dozen different screens scattered about the city that we can put the same messaging out on every one of them. So, any questions about that before I move on? Okay. All right, so this is the final big project we've been working on, and this is the TextMyGov platform. This one has been in soft rollout for about a month or two, so we can kind of work out some of the kinks and the processes for taking this in. But TextMyGov is a citizen engagement tool that allows citizens to ask questions and report things in the city with just a phone number. You don't have to have an app, you don't have to go to our website, you just have to have this specific phone number, and you can send a text to the city asking a question or reporting something in our community. So if you ask a question, we've got it preloaded with a bunch of responses based on frequently asked questions. So if you ask a question that it recognizes as a frequently asked question, you're going to get an answer right away that we've pre-populated in. This is not AI kind of generating it. It's us generating the answer, so it's safe. We've put the answer in based on the question that you've asked. If it doesn't recognize the question you've asked, it's going to do a search of our website, and it's going to provide you with a search result and point you to those areas on the website. It'll also send us a notification saying someone has asked a question that the system didn't recognize. So we can log into the back end and we can send a text response back to the citizen and answer their question. And then we can go into the system and add that answer to the system. So it's one that the more we use it and the more we find people asking questions that TextMyGov didn't know, we add those answers. So the more it gets used, the more it learns, and the more often people are going to ask a question and they get the right answer, because we're going to continue to fill it with the right answers. So that's the question side. The other side is reporting concerns. So if you're riding through the city and you see tall grass or a pothole or a street light out, some kind of concern, you can also report them through TextMyGov. So if you see some tall grass and you want to report that to code compliance, you're going to text tall grass or whatever it might be, and it's going to recognize that based on some keywords that we've pre-programmed in, and it's going to say, all right, you're trying to report a code compliance issue. So it's going to ask you a series of follow-up questions. What is the nearest address? Can you provide a brief description? Can you upload a picture? It's going to ask you your name, and then it's going to create a work ticket in the iWork system, and it's going to notify the code compliance department that a submission has been made. Here's the ticket, here's all the information, here's the contact information for the resident, so they can immediately go out and follow up. The same happens if it is if it's a street issue or a maintenance issue or a sanitation issue. It's going to recognize those based on some keywords. If it doesn't recognize it, it's going to say, hey, these are some of the keywords you can choose from. So it's going to send it to the Public Services Department, and they're going to be able to follow up in iWork. This is the ticket, the work order system that they already use. So it's going to populate a ticket into iWork, and they're going to be able to immediately follow up with them and find an answer. So that's an easy way for citizens to report via just a simple text. We had a form on the website that was a reporting a concern form. We've also updated that one to tie into iWork as well. We usually got at least 1 or 2 submissions a day via that form. So now the new form, when you put all in your information on the website through this form, you can even drop a little pin on the map to show exactly where your location is. It's also going to pre-populate a ticket directly into iWork and notify Public Services or notify Code Compliance or notify us to make sure we can immediately respond to the citizens. So it's a great software to allow citizens, if it's after hours and there's nobody to call at City Hall, that gives them some way to report something and get a response or get an answer, or to go ahead and get something reported. And the more ways that the citizens can touch base with us, the better, and the more ways we can reach back out to them. So like I said, we've been soft rolling it out over the last couple of months. We'll probably start pretty heavy in January with some promotional pieces, putting out this phone number saying, hey, save this to your phone. This is our where you can text the city with any questions or concerns you might have. So, any questions about that platform?
You say it's not AI until it refuses to open the pod bay doors.
Correct, we're not quite there yet. We don't trust the AI just yet.
Good.
We've seen all those movies. So those are the three big projects in our communications. The only thing left in my presentation is our performance measures. I'll go through those pretty quickly, but they are on par with last year. Some have already exceeded last year's numbers. You can see some of our digital media projects. Our social media numbers are up 12.5% over last year. Our website traffic is up 15% over last year. This is a fun one because it's got our top 5 starting pages and our top 5 destination pages on our website. You can see that the Greystone Amphitheater events page is already in the top 5 pages that are hit out of all of our website pages. So that's a neat one there. And that's probably contributed to the boost in the website traffic. Like I said, it's up 15% already. Or as of August 1st, actually. So we've already on par to pass last year's numbers. So, all right, and I believe that is all of my information. If anybody has any questions about anything that I rushed over or anything that I talked about, I'd be happy to address any questions you may have.
Thank you, Jason. That was fantastic. I am really excited about TextMyGov.
Me too.
I think that is amazing. And I'm really happy to hear that you are doing a big splash with it early in the year, because when people know that, it's going to get a lot of use. That's fantastic. As is everything else. I'm particularly struck by, and as you mentioned, the engagement percentage from your email. That's huge.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
surprising.
for so much of mass emails, you're lucky if you get 10% engagement, and you're over 70. That's amazing.
Yeah, and Allison Parker, our communications manager, she did a communications survey earlier in the year as well, asking the community how they like to be communicated with, how we can reach out with them, how we can reach them best. And email seemed to be the one people chose the most. It was a shock to us. We expected social media and website, but no, people wanted emails to let them know what was going on, which was surprising. So I don't know if that's
Give the
unique to our
people what they
community or
want,
what. So.
That's fantastic. And thank you for everything you do. You guys are amazing. And I know nobody's going to disagree with that sentiment, but does anybody else have any questions or comments for Jason? Mr. Adams?
Just wanted to thank Jason for his continued hard work and his staff for everything that they've done. This really shows us what goes on behind the scenes and just how much work is being done. And it shows in the number of projects that you are undertaking and are taking care of, making sure everyone in our community knows about it. Great job. Thank you.
Mr. Davis?
Yes, thanks again, Jason. The world is diverse. Do we have a Spanish version in TextMyGov?
There is an option for a language change, I think, in TextMyGov, so you can
Right.
select a language change. We have to make sure on our end that we can then take those in. Luckily, we do have someone on our staff who is fluent in Spanish, so we can look at that. But that is an option. Yeah, we want to make sure it's available to everyone. We do occasionally, and we even in the software rollout, we've gotten a few in that have come in Spanish. It'll do a translation and between the software and our staff and Google Translate, we're able to translate the request and respond appropriately, so.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you, Jason. That was great.
Thank you.
All righty. That's all you had?
Speaking of AI,
That wasn't me.
Apparently, that's what everybody
Okay,
thought.
so you didn't have anything else, Mr.?
No, that's it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome. Do we have comments? We thank you so much, Mr. Post, for all the hard work that you do. Do we have any comments from citizens and delegates? If you sustain the meeting and you'd like to speak to us, please come forward, and you have 5 minutes to talk to us about anything germane to the city of Douglasville. Okay. If not, we don't have any other business to come forward, then this meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, Mark.